Whether gardening or worm farming, or a worm farming business or a gardening business, you have been working on it for quite a while. You know exactly what you want, the outcome that you want from your business, how you want your business to be set up, what steps you need to take to get your business to where you want it to be. But as you go through the process, there are so many things that either go wrong or there are so many things that demand your attention. And because of that, even though you have what it takes, whether resources, material, or the plan to get your business or your garden or your worm farm up and running, you have everything that you need to get started. But circumstances, responsibilities, and so many things demand our attention that you just can't get it done. And you find yourself getting frustrated because it's not as if you are struggling to figure out what you want or how you're going to get it. You know exactly where you want to go and how to get there, but circumstances just won't allow you. It can be quite frustrating, and to be honest, a lot of people do give up when they're facing challenges like these. Why? Because it seems as if it will just never happen. It's not going to happen for them. They look around them and they see others who start long after they did or when they did, and those ones seem to be thriving and doing so well, and that can make them even more frustrated. But I'm here just to encourage you not to give up. The race is not for the swift, but for the one that endures to the end. So what I'm going to be sharing with you is my personal experience. Now, I lived in Saskatchewan, as most of you who have been following me through the years know. Saskatchewan is a frigidly cold province. And my worm farming business was set up in my garage, which was partially heated, and so getting my worms to reproduce at the rate that I wanted them to was a major challenge for me. After researching and thinking and planning, I finally figured out, okay, this is what I'm going to do to the garage to get it up to where I want it to be. Space was a big challenge for me. Heating was a big challenge for me. And the fact that it was a detached garage from my house, having to walk from the house to the garage, which honestly was not far. But being Jamaican, I hate the cold. So to me, it is far to walk. I'm walking 2 car lengths from the house to the garage door. And that for me was a major challenge. But yes, I finally figured out how I was going to set up the garage so that I can bring it up to the standards where I can get my worms to reproduce continually at a steady rate. But then, just as I reach that point, guess what happens? Honey, I found a job in another province which is much better than this. We're gonna be moving. What do you think? Now here we are in BC, British Columbia. And my husband came down and started working 3 months before us. So I was quite excited because he said, darling, guess what? The house that we are going to get have an unfinished side of the basement, quite big, and you can set up your wormery in there. I'm like, oh, indoors, inside the house? I don't have to go outside to look after my worms. This is gonna be awesome. Was it? Beg to differ. So this the unfinished side of the basement has 2 rooms large enough to be 2 massive bedrooms, and then it has a major section that could be 3 bedrooms. But the problem with the unfinished side of the basement is, as I said, it's unfinished, but guess what? It is also unheated. Oh, no worries. I can always put a few heaters in here and heat up the room. Not the case. The challenge I am facing at the moment is this house does not have enough circuit. So every extra appliance that you put on, every time you turn on an appliance, you have to go and turn on your breaker. So frustrating. So that is one of the issues that I'm facing. So My worm farm is supposed to be at least 20, 22 degrees. Can you see that? It is 18 degrees. That's the highest it gets. Now I have one eater in here that is kept at 21 degree, and the space that I am using is 25 feet by 13 feet. That little eater cannot supply this entire place with heat. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. But guess what? I'm not giving up, and neither should you. You should not give up when you're facing with challenges. Why? Do you think all those people out there who are successful and their business is thriving and they're looking all happy, do you think they didn't face challenges? Did you think they didn't get frustrated sometimes and feel like it is a waste of time? Of course they did. But they kept pushing on because they know what their problems are. And so the important thing is to find a solution. So for me, I know what my solution is. I don't want to keep moving around. And at the moment, I'm not sure I want to settle down in this region. So until I decide where I'm going to go, I'm going to keep on working on what I have here, bringing it up to the standard that I want it to be. On this side, this shelf for my worms, these are my red riggers. My setup is complete. This bed is 30 inches by 8 feet. And then I have my breeder bins up there. And then on this side was supposed to be the same. This here is my European nightcrawler bed. It is the same size as the other. As you can see, I have one of the shelf here that has not been installed, and the other two shelves are down there. They have not been installed. Do you know how long ago I made those? Those have been sitting here for 3 months. So what I'm trying to say to you is, whether it is gardening, whether it is worm farming, whether it is a business, you're going to face challenges. You're going to have your family to look after. Maybe you have another job, and until your gardening or worm farming business reach the level where it can sustain your family, if that is your goal, you're going to have to keep working. You're going to have to keep looking after the family. You're going to have to keep on dealing with the emergency situations that come up. You're going to have to face the frustrations. You're going to have to face the limitations. But you cannot give up, because the ones who give up never get the outcome that they seek. It is only by being determined, it is only by putting in the effort and knowing that it is going to take time that you are going to be able to reach your goals. And yes, a lot of you may have noticed that the material that I am using for my tiered raised beds are either recycled or not really the best standard, and that is okay, because as I mentioned, this is a temporary solution. I just keep going, working with what I have. Since I moved from Saskatchewan, I had to downsize my operation by far, but I'm not giving up. At the moment, I'm using this time to build my worm population and to use all of these challenges, circumstances as experience to learn from, so that when I get my own place again, I can set it up exactly the way I want it. I know what the challenges are. I know what to look out for, how I'm going to solve those challenges. So again, I say to you, challenges is a part of life. We have to accept it and move on. Don't give up. Keep on going. When you're feeling discouraged, look for people who are facing similar challenges to you. Learn from their example. Seek help if you need help from others. Even sometimes if you have to take courses to help you to overcome your challenges, do not be afraid to invest in yourself, because that is the only way you can keep moving forward. So, challenges may come. How do you plan to overcome them? Will you overcome them? Will you give up? Only those who are determined and keep focused and try to find solutions are the ones that will succeed. So don't give up, and until I see you again, have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah man, a time for growth.